Right, NVIDIA's stocks bull run. Let's see what they got to say over here on CNBC television. Guys, that like button. Appreciate you for hanging out. Let's do it.
NVIDIA stock is up more than 80% this year alone. Our next guest has a $1,400 price target and a buy rating on the stock, one of the highest on the street. Joining us now with more, Hans Mosesman, Rosenblatt Securities Senior Research Analyst. Hans, great to have you with us. We've been highlighting that 5.5% drop, but what's more concerning is the 10% intraday drop from the record high it hit early in the session to the closing lows on Friday. And I'm wondering, I know this is a technical signal, but does that concern you at all in terms of how it's positioned?
Well, we're a little volatile here as some players are going through the remnants of a down cycle. Last week, Broadcom and Marvell, which are broader-based semiconductor plays, indicated that some parts of the market, the enterprise, on-premise, comms, still weak. Some of these stocks have shot up aggressively, so some profit taking, but I think into the NVIDIA GTC, which is in a couple of weeks, we like the story, and certainly into the year. What
do you think is going to be announced there?
Well, there's going to be a significant amount of depth, not just on the product side, on the GPU compute side of the equation or acceleration, but also on the software side. I think that that's an element of the story that over time is more important than the hardware, the software stack, the compiler technology. And I think that investors will realize that this is a soft IP play long-term on AI, not just hardware.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think that what they haven't necessarily communicated too well to investors is this notion that once you buy that GPU for AI, that you're actually also on the hook for the software side of it. And so you're buying into sort of an ecosystem. Do you think Jensen Huang is going to be able to sell that at this event?
Well, he's been selling it for years, and I think it's just starting to move the dial.
Are investors going to buy it at the event?
Why does she ask him a question and then cut him off immediately?
Well, I think that it's a matter of little by little, and people realize that this is not just a quick cycle. This is the mother of all cycles. We've been calling it, and they're the tip of the spear. And the software side of the business is one that probably could be about half the business by the end of the decade. So it's huge, and obviously that's all profit coming from royalties, subscriptions, and so on.
See, this whole AI boom thing, right? This is kind of where Bitcoin was years back, right? This is going to be the kickstart of it, and I feel like NVIDIA is just going to go absolutely insane. This entire bull run and the ones coming up in the future.
You mentioned Broadcom and Marvell, and specifically Marvell's sort of disappointment. And I'm wondering, because once upon a time, people would overlook that and say, to your point, that they are broader, semiconductor plays. And so they're not necessarily the NVIDIA story. And yet we had the sort of the contagion felt in the space. Does that signal to you that there may be investor just concern about how far semis broadly have run?
See, so you guys that are here, where a lot of us are crypto miners having GPUs and stuff. It's awesome. We gotta kind of broaden our horizons when it comes to AI and kind of think about what's going to be coming. I know a lot of guys are into the vast AI stuff. I haven't been into that yet personally, but this stuff is going to be the future. All this AI stuff is just it's gonna force these stocks and NVIDIA, AMD, all those companies to just newer levels that we've never seen before. I mean, just alongside Bitcoin. That's why it's all kind of relevant.
Yeah, I think we got a little ahead of ourselves. There are parts of the business, this cycle is different, that came in waves in terms of how we went down and how they're coming back. So Marvell and Broadcom both got a little NVIDIA love, if you will, on the AI side since the beginning of the year. And so it got a little ahead of itself. About half the business is still going through the throes of this down cycle, probably another quarter. So, but I don't look at that as something that's fundamentally wrong. Marvell and Broadcom are doing custom ASICs for hyperscalers, and that's a key area for AI because not everybody can use NVIDIA for their workloads in the data center and in enterprise.
Shout out to CNBC for that. Crypto Frank said, if you're investing into NVIDIA, don't forget about all the companies that make their chips. That's a good point. And then Carl Coates says, NVIDIA is selling the shovels for AI 1,000%.